There you are. And then let's do this. Welcome to the Bear Facts on Guns, where host Derek Baer and his guests are locked and loaded to educate, inspire, and yes, answer your questions about firearms. Tonight, the other side, road trip to Tennessee. Don't adjust your radios. We are live after a couple weeks off. But you know what? We're back. Ready. Aim. Derek.
Welcome back, everyone. Yes, we had a couple weeks off and really appreciate you guys. Welcome back to the show. Yes, just freshly back from Tennessee. Cannot complain at all. Me and my wife's anniversary, 7 years. Been together for over 13. So, and she's not watching right now, but she will be jumping on later. So, love you, babe. Had a great trip. Went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, baby.
The G-Berg.
The G-Berg. And I brought you back a little gift. Just so you. So Ken about shit his pants out there
Hey,
today.
you know what? Let me just throw that out there.
Go ahead,
Keith, how are you, buddy? You do know how to find this station.
Oh,
I don't ever see it on any TikToks or anything. A little love to 21.6, but God bless you, Keith, for tuning in.
He does make some damn good food.
Oh,
man.
he does.
Okay,
I still talk about the man camp.
I'm gonna plug him out.
Yeah.
He Smoking Griddle Boys. I mean, that dude, that flat iron. Was it flat iron or black iron?
Black iron. Black something.
Black.
Whatever.
Yeah, we're terrible at this.
Blackstone.
Yeah, Blackstone. Good
Yeah.
job. Okay, cool. He does make some fire stuff, and the man trip was amazing. I've had 3 vacations in the past month.
Right,
let's be real. I went to I went to oh my gosh, a golf outing with Bruce Better. He's with Craper Mortgage. He's great, whatever. And he invited me out for that man camp with the wonderful Kent.
Show him your shirt.
Oh yeah. Oh, by the way.
Keith
oh my God. There's so much to talk about today. We need to get
Keith
organized.
says I
here.
still haven't pooped correctly.
It's not from your cooking though, is it?
No, that cooking was on point.
You're just nervous about the outhouse thing. I'm not gonna lie. That was probably one of the best poops I've had in a while. And for those of you who want to know, Bear does shit in the woods. I can personally vouch for that. And I have a brand new shirt that says,
shirt.
"Yep, I pooped today." So, and the bad thing is, I actually worked in this today, and I wore this on purpose. So I came into the office today, and Magda, when I came back from the vacation for Man Camp, the girls and Art and Mac got me a gift that Magda was wearing a shirt that says "Seek to Understand" because it's my favorite conversation. Yeah. Seek to understand. Don't judge. Don't jump to conclusions. Don't get in your own head about your own story. So your story can be your story. It's okay to have your story, but you need to listen to the other story as well and then compile them together to do that. So I always tell people, seek to understand. Someone comes at you and, this person's doing this on purpose and da-da-da. I'm like, hang on a second. Help me understand why you think that. Well, my story is, okay, cool. That's your story. Did you talk to the other person? Oh, they had a flat tire and they're running 20 minutes late. They hit a raccoon and they were trying to get it back because they're a heartful person. And, there's a whole nother story to things. So they have a shirt that says seek to understand. So when we were in Tennessee, we were walking around in all the shops in downtown, and I saw a shirt that says, I pooped today. And I said, that's not a bad shirt to wear. So I wore it to work, and it made everyone hysterically laugh today. The funnier part about it is I went around town today like normal business, not realizing that I have a shirt on that says I pooped today. And the amount of people that literally said stuff to me about it was incredible. Yes, yeah.
Good for you, buddy.
And Tennessee was cool. We drove down there, so we had a great drive. It was super comfortable. It was awesome. And Keith says
it was a good toilet show.
Yeah. So Keith says, dude, last week's toilet episode was fantastic. I can't disagree with you 100%. I can't disagree with you. It's amazing. It was my favorite. I love 2 weeks. I love the poop. Actually. It's just how it is. So, that's how it works. 2 weeks ago. Yes. So when we got down, we drove down to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and I got off, and I had a gun shirt on, and as I usually do anyway. And I get out of the car, and I'm stretching, and everything. And this guy comes up and taps me on the shoulder. Hey, son, really like your shirt. I'm like, what? I'm like, hang on a second. What fucking shirt do I have on today? I'm like, hopefully it's not something really offensive because sometimes I do that. And it said gun control on the back of it, and it listed gun controls. Something to do with my wife. I'll wear it on the show and show you guys. Shield Republic shirt, really funny. And I was like, well, you could definitely tell you're in firearms country when the first 2 seconds out of the car, people like your shirt rather than say, hey, why do you have that shirt on?
You found your dad.
Huh?
Hey, son.
Yeah, hey, son. It's y'all's son's Babe. Babe was talked a lot down there. Hey, Babe, how you doing? And my wife's like, I just love when people call me Babe. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, am I not supposed to call you that? Because are you being sarcastic? Are you being funny?
It's different, though, in the South, right?
It is. But I love the culture down there.
Yeah.
The Southern culture, Southern hospitality. For those of you that have never visited the South, there's a clear definition when the South starts. Yeah. Okay. And there's a clear definition of types of people.
Old Mason-Dixon line.
Old Mason-Dixon line. So we went across the bridge, Clyde. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose it now. I just spoke about it today. I have a picture of it. Lewis and Clark Bridge.
The bridge,
which is gorgeous, by the way. And we took my wife took some amazing photos of that as well, which is cool. So obviously, as you guys know, any place that I travel to, I try to find the local gun store and have a conversation with them. The craziest thing about this is this gun store, literally, the guy that I talked to was from Schiller Park and an ex-cop from Schiller Park moved to Tennessee because of how bad Illinois' laws have gotten him and how bad he's a retired cop, 30 years on the force, left Illinois the second he retired and went to Tennessee and is now working at this massive gun store that has literally more knives. It's actually a knife store with a gun store in it.
Yeah, just off the interstate.
318 or whatever it is.
I went to that one too, and it's got some replica guns there as well.
Yes. So I walked around and I'm thinking, I'm like, man, there's got to be something I can bring in for the show that I can leave here because it's really funny and it's cool. And I found a hand grenade.
It is a great hand grenade.
I pulled that out of my bag with zero context, by the way.
I was not expecting it. I was like, what the?
Ken goes, is that real?
Right.
So for Facebook people out there and for community guidelines and standards, this is not real. It's completely not able to be utilized at all. I'm sure you can make shift to make something work, but there's no firing pin in this as well. And it's just freaking cool.
It's cool.
It's heavy. I test you, Kent, when you get a second to go ahead and try this out. It has
that's the issue, right? Is it's like a metal bomb. I mean, it blows off metal shards.
Shrapnel, it just blows off metal shrapnel. And you pull the pin, which I had to make sure I pulled the pin, which was really cool because it was a lot of fun too. Keith wants me to bring it to the show tomorrow. I can bring it to the show tomorrow, and then I'm going to bring it back. But this is literally living in here because Kent has a lot of.
We can add it to the collection.
Yeah, he has a lot of cool stuff here, but I will bring it to the show tomorrow for Dream Home Experts, guys. No problem, which is cool.
I can't get the pin back in.
I know. It's like me messing when I.
So here's the interesting thing, and I know you've traveled all the United States in your previous jobs and things like that. And you're well traveled, but Tennessee, as cool as it is, open carry.
It is
open carry, and so At first, when we were down there several years ago, probably 10 years ago, 12 years ago, it was still open carry. And my kids were a little bit smaller. So my son was of age to get a tattoo. So he must've been 18 to 19 years old. He's 27 now. Sure. So there you go.
Kent's old as fuck, just to remember.
Yeah. Old fella. I'm a silver star. The interesting thing at first, I was a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But then you're like, everybody had it, and nobody said two words about it.
Nope.
Nobody unholstered it.
Nope.
And then you were like, if something goes down, it'll be like a shootout at the OK Corral. I mean, there's a lot of more folks around here that have them, right? Amazing.
I agree, and it's just like the conversation I had when I went to Arizona too, because when I talked to the guy at Bear Arms Firearms in Arizona, the funny thing is he's just said just expect that everyone's carrying, grandma, grandpa, mom, kids, and you have one of those things. And Jessica, what did she say?
Yeah, she says that's what I said, Keith. He never listens.
Who?
Lols.
Oh, okay. I don't know what I don't listen to. Jess, you have to tell me that later because I don't know what I don't listen to. I'm listening now, so you can go ahead and say it on here. It's fine. I feel safer around that kind of area because at the end of the day, everyone's carrying. So if there is an incident that does happen, there's 15 people in there that are carrying and can retaliate to protect themselves or the family and the people around you.
Yeah.
So it just becomes one of those things. Keith says, Jessica to punch me in the head. She does it every day. She throws stuff at me in my office, so it's cool. It works out. So there's a sense of safety that I feel around with it. The second part of it as well is I don't feel like when I open carry, and I didn't open carry down there. I actually concealed carried still, but the fact of it's a very strange feeling to open carry for me. The difference is it's extremely comfortable. Okay, and also. I actually switched. We're not getting off this poop conversation. No. I mean, I am wearing a shirt that says I love poop today. Yeah, I pooped today. So I switched because my concealed carry holster actually has a flip around that I can open carry with it too, and it locks in. It's carbon fiber. It's gorgeous. It looks great. So it looks great concealed. Obviously for me, It looks amazing when you're open concealing it, which is awesome as well. And I bought a really cool Leatherman. Case my wife bought me when we were in Tennessee that is carbon fiber also and matches my holster, which then you got this great carbon fiber looking thing. I bought a new belt down there that's for concealed carry as well, which is really nice. Also, it brought up a different concern for me, surprisingly enough.
Really?
I've never been able to open carry. So think for a second. You now are able to open carry. Kent, you want to jump on there. You want to open carry. What's your concern? Now, I think differently than most people.
My concern is somebody takes the gun.
Okay, right? So it
happened at man camp.
Who did?
You did.
What did I do?
I had the airsoft gun. You took it out of my pocket.
Yeah, I did. I walked up behind you and stole it. It's so true. Yeah. You didn't even know it was happening.
That would be my worry.
Yes.
Right.
So then the first thing I thought of is, man, like now I got to be concerned and keep my hand on it or near it so that I can feel. I can't feel it now. I can feel it sitting on my hip. But if you pull that out, I don't know if it's gone or not. Like you could literally take it out, shoot me, and walk away, and I'd just be like, "Okay, cool." What happened? So weird feeling. So then I started thinking, okay, I'm assuming they do make holsters that have a lock on the top, and you can lock the top of it, and you have to click it off and whatever else. But every time you do something safety, right, you add a millisecond to problems with the fact that you now need to unlatch something and then pull out of your holster and then shoot. So you're adding a millisecond. That millisecond can be detrimental to you or whatever's happening in front of you. So you have to think about those things as well. The other part of it is I just put my t-shirt over it and then walked around that way, and at least it's open carry, it's comfortable, and if you see it, you see it. If you don't, you don't. But you just keep it in front of me so that I can keep eyes on it as well. But it's the same with my wallet. I keep a wallet in my front pocket. I keep my cell phone in my front pocket where I can feel it constantly.
Got a lot of room in those front pockets?
No, it's a little tight. It's a little tight in those front pockets. I'm fat. What do you want me to say? But my wife constantly, it's a woman thing. And when I was walking around Gatlinburg, the first thing I noticed is that every chick had a cell phone in her butt. And I looked at my wife and I was like, yeah, she had a cell phone in her butt too. I'm like, hey, can you put that in your front pocket? She's like, why? I'm like, do you not see how many people are around us right now? Like, I already stole your phone twice and you didn't even know it. I put it back and pulled it out again. You didn't even notice it.
She noticed.
Maybe she did. She was hoping for something. So,
love my anniversary. Ooh, got felt up 3
Happy
times.
Anniversary. It's not a cell phone in your pocket. So it just brings up different. It brought up a weird concern of mine that I didn't even think about doing because it was actually a place that I knew was no permit. I looked up all the laws before I left there. The funny thing is I had to look up Indiana laws. I had to look up Kentucky laws. And then I had to look up Tennessee laws as well because I drove through those states, and there's different reasons or different things that you need to do. Luckily, they're all basically the same for those 3 states, which is good as well. So I'm shopping in Gatlinburg. I find this cool. I mean, I bought a bunch of cool stuff. I bought a Second Amendment huge flag down there. I bought a grenade, a fake grenade. It's, maybe it was real. I don't really know if it is. I've never held a real grenade in my life. It feels real to me. I bought a cool case. I looked for my 1911 down there, and the first question I asked them, I said, hey, if I buy this here, I did this in Arizona because I found my 1911, my Smith & Wesson 1911 in Arizona, ready to go for a really good price. And I'm like, I want that. How do I get that? He's like, we got to be a resident here. I'm like, great. Can you ship it to Illinois? And Arizona said, no, this specific store. We take care of our own before we take care of anybody else, and we need to take care of our own. I respected it because obviously that's his store, and he can do what he wants to do with it. Tennessee was like, yeah, sure, we can ship it anywhere. We can just ship it to your FFL place, and as long as it's a valid gun store, we can ship it there, and you just have to follow your own laws and that. And I said, no problem, we can do that. They didn't have my 1911 in stock there. So still on the hunt for this. Someday I will find this as well.
The elusive 1911.
It's a particular. Smith & Wesson just released today. They are moving out of Springfield, Massachusetts, and moving to Tennessee.
Tennessee is the place to be.
Tennessee, Arizona. You're basically your second places. I guess. I don't know. That's a big deal.
Texas.
It's a big deal.
Big deal.
Think about that for a second.
They've been there forever.
Forever.
Ever.
I mean,
they're pulling out.
Because of the laws that are changing, they have to literally move their entire company out of that state. Now, it's not the whole state, not the whole company, but most of it.
Right.
Manufacturing needs to be moved out of there into a state because of laws that have subsided. And Massachusetts is, why? Like, what is the deal?
Yeah, yuck.
I don't know. I don't get it. Boston's not my favorite.
Aren't you from the East Coast that way?
I am. New York has ridiculous gun laws too. I would never do that. I mean, the NRA I think they're based in New York, weren't they? Or they were fighting laws in New York or something. I have to look that up. There's
not to be confused with NWA.
And not to confuse with NWA, which is still being worked on right now. Oh, sorry. Can't talk about that stuff.
Yeah, never mind. We'll get censored.
Beep. I know. Seriously.
All right. So you're cruising on a ton of people.
Yep.
And ton of people with open carry.
Not one open carry I saw when I was down there.
Not one.
Really? And to be honest, I didn't heavily look, but I definitely looked at every guy's and girls kind of waistband to see if they had something. And most of it was cell phones and stuff. The problem is, I think where we were in Gatlinburg is so
touristy.
It is touristy. Yeah. It's really touristy.
It's just a good way to put it.
It is. And there's a lot of people. I heard the term, it's the new Vegas that's going on.
Oh boy.
There's a lot of lights. There's a lot of flashing things.
Let's call it, I don't know if it's the new Vegas. Maybe the new, what is it?
Miracle Mile?
No, what's the place in Lake of the Ozarks? Maybe
Lake of the Ozarks might be. Yeah. It definitely was a lot of tourists, definitely a lot of shops, a lot of the same merchandise and gifts and all that kind of stuff. I have to shout this out because my wife will jump on eventually, and I have to commend her. She overcame a very big fear of hers, and I love my wife for this. My wife constantly, you got to remember,
she pooped.
Yeah, she pooped in the woods. She's Mrs. Bear pooping in the woods.
That's right.
Call her Honey Bear.
Honey Bear. Oh Lord.
So. There's a bridge out there, a suspension bridge, 500 feet in the air, 628 feet long. Yeah,
good Lord. I don't know if I'd have done it.
And
good for her.
My wife is literally one of those people that try new things, but I have to kind of push her into things. So she rides a motorcycle now. She's never ridden a motorcycle in her life. She shoots guns all the time. She owns her own firearm. She's shooting at the range. She's doing a great job. Things that I love about her is that she constantly tries to push herself to do something different. Now, the reason she wanted to go to this was not because of getting over a fear.
Yeah.
It literally was because of the fact she wanted to ride the ski lifts that she's never ridden. And I hate ski lifts, personally. There's a thin little wire with a lot of people, and they don't check weight before you get on those things. And they sway.
Oh, they move.
They
bounce. They move.
Yeah. And
on that little wire.
mechanical brain of mine starts thinking about how this can fail. Wires can start unstripping, and I can't see that because there's 20 miles of cord running around, and I can see the pole doing this, and I start thinking, is the pole hollow? Who checked the bolts last? I don't see the inspection report on anything. So I'm freaking out internally, and she doesn't know this, by the way. So she's literally not. Yeah. She's going to hear about this on the show. She does not know this. I don't want to tell her this because she's panicked enough as it is. So I got to keep my composure together because
always
you got to be the man, right? You got to be the guy, the rock. Yeah. Hey, Tim Allen, very good. I didn't just shoot myself in the foot with a nail gun. No, it's fine. I know how to use this thing. And so she gets to the top of it and she's taking pictures, and I'm like, all right, we're walking across the bridge. And she's like, no, I didn't come up here for the bridge. I said, you can't come to the world's longest suspension bridge and not walk across it. Like, and I'm not going to walk across 628 feet by myself because that's just weird. Like, I'm going to go out in the middle of this thing and probably do jumping backs just to be a jackass because I'm a daredevil and that's what I like to do. So she made it halfway down and she stops in the middle of it. And I'm trying to be like, hey, like you got this. You're halfway there. You're doing great. The problem is it's glass in the middle.
Oh Lord.
It's like 7 sections of glass. And it's pretty gnarly, right? It's cool. And, so I'm like, you got this. All you gotta do, just look at the board all the way across. Don't look down. Look at the board. And she's like, shut up. Like, don't tell me what to do. I'm like, oh, great. Here goes the husband-wife conversation of, you're not trusting me right now. You need to trust me. I promise you it'll be fine. I will stand out there. So I walked across a couple times. And meanwhile, you have probably 50 to 100 people that are behind us trying to get across this bridge and dealing with their own fears, right? Because not everyone that goes on this bridge is like, oh, I'm so excited to be out there. I am. I'm super excited. This is cool as heck. I'm 500 feet in the air. I can't see anything. I got the best view in the world. And there's glass underneath me. It's awesome. So every time that somebody walked past, it was like, oh, I'm sorry, my wife's frozen right now. Just give her a couple minutes. She's trying to work on something. And people were so freaking nice. I got to tell you, they're the coolest, nicest people down there. Yanni will be fine. Sweetie will be fine. Babe will be fine. Because that's how they speak down there. And, she's like, okay, I got it. Like, I understand it. I know I'll be fine. Like, I just need to get over this. And I can't get over this. And I'm like, it's okay. We're going to stay here. 20 minutes. Okay. Standing in one spot. By the way, we're at the worst possible spot in the entire world. There's like literally the middle is the worst because it's swaying and moving and bouncing and like you're in the wind. And if it breaks, you have nowhere to run to because you have 300 feet you need to run to in half a second.
Swing in like Tarzan.
Swing in like Tarzan. Again, I didn't tell her any of this, so I'm just standing there letting her do it. So she got across it. She got a pin over there, a T-shirt.
It was at that point where you guys were like, we shouldn't have took that handful of edibles.
Exactly. Yeah. That might have helped more than what it was. Yeah. No, she was Xanax free, edibles free, and I should have done that. That would have been kind of cool. I got a wicked cool picture of me standing up there on top of the glass, which is cool. I'll show you that too. It's gonna be a new. I yelled. That's my new Facebook profile, so I was really excited about it.
That's cool.
So we're shopping downtown, and I come across this magazine. I think it was a USA Today magazine that was sitting there. And I read it because it said guns on it. It's like, oh, I read the word guns. Like, pick up the magazine. 2,000 kids shot in Chicago.
What? From what date to what date?
Literally, I was baffled. Yeah. So I'm standing in line, and there's people all around me, and I'm like, see, this is the stuff that I keep talking about, that we keep talking about. Like, you literally just put on the post that 2,000 kids were shot in Chicago. Anybody reading that is going to think 2,000 kids were shot in Chicago. No, one kid was fatally shot. I think there was a couple shootings this weekend in Chicago, which there is every weekend. I think the kid, my heart goes out to that family. Obviously, there's some, caught in crossfire or whatever the situation was. The child's no longer here, and that's sad. That's the end of the day with that, Getting back to the fact that the media continually tries to push numbers in different ways. I don't know what the dates were. So I read part of the article. I couldn't read the whole article, but I'm sure buried in there, it was 15 or 20 years worth of data that 2,000 kids in 20 years has been shot in downtown Chicago. This is getting ridiculous. This is so bad. So I tried to search for the news article when I came back, and I couldn't find it online, and I don't know why. I'm pretty sure it was a USA Today one. I'm not really 100% sure on it, but it had the same colors, blue and globe-like feeling on there as well. So the strange thing about what I think about with that is the fact that we just continue to blindly look at what other people say without actually doing the research about what it is. Right?
Yeah, there used to be a time, they call it fact checking now, but there used to be a time, right, where you would go and do your own research.
Sure.
You'd see a headline or hear a story, and you'd be, I don't know, let me look that up. We don't do that now. We go, oh, saw that on TikTok. That guy, yeah, he says he's a time traveler from 2681. I imagine he's right. I've never been to 2681.
Yep.
Instead of going, is time travel even possible? Let's look into it. What does it take? You know?
I think it takes a flux capacitor and a DeLorean.
Yeah, big time.
It's just what I read about on a movie or whatnot as well.
That's right.
So
just yesterday, I think in downtown Chicago, there was a crazy chase, and they were shooting guns out the SUVs right in the middle of downtown or whatever. And again, the issue is that if it ain't in my backyard, I don't worry about it unless it supports my narrative. Right. And I think what happens is too many times we allow someone else's narrative to become our narrative without doing that research. Just saying, you know what? That's the first thing that came to my mind. What 2,000 kids?
Mm-hmm.
What time frame are we talking about? Are we talking about the last 25 years? Are we talking about the last 3 weeks? And that's a serious thing. Now, what I'm also tired of is, well, they're illegal guns that killed those two. Are they? We don't know, right? Idiots do stupid things. I'm also tired of the argument. Well, if all they had was knives, 2,000 kids would have been stabbed to death. Come on, no, I don't know. And here's why I say that, Derek.
Mm-hmm.
When I was growing up, guns hung in the back. They were right out in the parking lot. And guess what? You and I stepped out in the parking lot, and we bloodied each other's noses and fought like hell, but never once thought about pulling a knife or a gun. Right? And then what happens? The next day at school, I see you in the hallway, and I nod my head like, all right, buddy, you got me. We're good now. Thanks. But like I tell my kids, just know that you might get your ass kicked, but they're going to know they got a fight on their hands. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what has happened somewhere along the way is, whether it's marketing, and you're a marketing guy, no fear, whatever the case may be, is whether it's through the programming through movies or Hollywood or whatever, you come in like Rambo, with bullets slung over your shoulder and an M60, just going pop, 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 like you could in the first place, one hand that thing, right?
Yep.
But that's
you found that out
right.
the hard way.
So
doing that too.
So the frustration, I think, and again, I've said it on this show several times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't own guns. That's okay. I'm not afraid of them.
Sure.
But we've allowed these things to happen.
Yep.
Right? Whether it's through bureaucracy, whether it's follow the money, whatever the case may be, we have allowed these things to continue to happen. But then we blame it on the gun. We don't blame it on the system.
Yeah. So Elon Musk is going through. There's two things I want to partner with what you said, and I don't disagree with you on that. Gun isn't the problem; it's the education around it. Right. And just to let you know, the shootings aren't even that a problem either. And I hate to say it this way: nobody should die by any. Thou shalt not murder. Like right? We as human race, we should not kill each other. Right. It's just plain and simple. When there's a will, there's a way. It's going to happen no matter what. removing the tool to create that murder just creates another tool to be used. Cars, vehicles, knives, whatever it is that you want to use weapons wise. And when you're killing somebody or have the intention to kill somebody, you are now changing a tool into a weapon, and a weapon becomes an assault weapon, not an AR-15. That is not an assault weapon unless used in an assaulting manner, which is where it comes from as well. And we have a guest joining us today. Rusty Shackelford has just joined the show. Welcome in, Rusty.
Welcome, Derek. How y'all doing?
I am doing phenomenal. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. We're down here in Eastern Kentucky. I've been listening to y'all for the last few weeks, and I thought I'd call in and kind of help y'all out if you want me to.
Yeah, Rusty, we're just having a discussion about shootings and the media and how people exacerbize how I just made that word up, by the way. It was close.
It was good.
Man, that was almost hillbilly right there.
You're bringing an accent into me from there. I just came back from Tennessee, so Second Amendment State. I got all this hillbilly running through me too. But at the end of the day, I was bringing up numbers that are being falsified, and we're looking at a world right now where we talk about guns being the problem when heart disease is really the problem. COVID is the problem. All that kind of stuff. So what are your stance? Where are you at, Rusty?
Well, Derek, I think I'm going to help y'all out today. I think y'all are laboring under a misconception, as we would say down south. So give me just a minute. Let me put a little prefix on this. We had an old boy down here, and buddy, he was dumb. I mean, as they'd say, he was eat up with it. And they didn't have anything else with him to do, so they sent him off to the army. He went off to Iraq or Fallujah or something. I don't know. They had him changing oil on tanks or something. I don't know. But anyway, somehow he blew himself up and killed himself. Man, there was a hollering and a screaming, and they brought him back. And everybody yelled and screamed he was a hero. And I said, well, why is he a hero? And they said, well, he died defending our First Amendment. He died fighting for our freedom. I said, all right. Now, you know as well as I do, you get anybody in the military dies, and they all say, oh, he died for that First Amendment. He died for that First Amendment. And that washes everybody's sins away. You all have heard that, right?
Yep.
You've all heard that.
Yep.
Now, I see that, and you don't say nothing about it too much, but now let's throw something into what the conversation y'all was just talking about. Let's say you get an old boy that, like my mama used to say, there's something wrong with his mental, He gets a rifle, and he goes out and he kills 10 or 15 of them, right?
Okay.
Well, what you get is you get a politician. He comes on the TV, and he starts offering thoughts and prayers and thought. First of all, a politician is about, I don't know any prayer that they'd say that get out of the ceiling in most houses. They ain't got no connection with the Lord. They're a politician, So what they say is, and here is where I'm going to help y'all out because y'all got some hypocrisy going on. I'm going to help y'all out.
Okay. I'm open.
So you got this politician that comes. You got this politician, he comes on TV, and Lord, I'm going to give you all thoughts and prayers, and look into it. I'm going to look into it. I might even start a committee. Y'all know he ain't doing nothing. He ain't doing nothing about it, but that's the stance.
That's right.
Now, here's where we're going to go a little further on this. If that old boy or woman come up and said, hey, y'all got a country with 350 million people, and I'm going to be conservative, 250 million guns. Was that a conservative number, Derek?
Yeah, it's a conservative number, but you're not far off.
All right, let's say 250 million. People going to get killed, man. That's all there is to it. And if them politicians would come up and say, hey, look, the First Amendment, it has a price. Well, it can't be the only amendment with a price. Second Amendment's got to have a price. So that price is every now and then somebody's going to lose their shit and kill a few people, man. That's all there is to it. That's the price. That's what they would call the butcher's bill of having the Second Amendment, man.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, they got to throw all that hypocrisy in, like they're going to do something, they're going to help something. But in a country with 250 million guns and 350 million people, man, the fact that people ain't killed 20 or 30 of them a day is pretty good, I think. You know, I mean, that's pretty good. But now, so we know on the political front, we know what's going on there. They ain't going to go against the NRA, and they sure as hell ain't going to go. You just said you was in Tennessee. Tennessee is a gun-toting state. I went to school in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And people there love their guns, man. Let me tell you, their daddies have guns. They all love them guns.
Yep.
So he ain't going to go to Tennessee and say, I'm going to take your guns away. So now I listened to your show for 3-4 weeks now, and you're throwing some statistics out now. And 2 weeks ago, you were throwing some, I think, statistics about Shanghai or Cambodia or some shit like that. I don't remember exactly, but
I was going after the people that didn't have firearms.
Yeah. I think you did some formula where if you divided pi by something or another and lowest common denominator, all of a sudden America was the safest place on the planet. I remember some numbers you was running. So I would think, Derek, here's the thing, man. I figure how many guns you got? You got probably 20 guns in your house, probably.
It's a personal question, but I'll answer.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's say you got 20 guns in your house. And Tom is there too, right?
Tom is actually not here today.
Tom, I know. I did a little research on y'all. You own a air conditioning company or something good for you, especially in something like Illinois where the damn socialists are beating you down. And Tom, I think, owns a gun range and then writes children's books, right? Stuff like Ricky the rifle and Petey the pistol and Becky bullets and stuff like that, right?
Sounds great.
Right. So now, here's where the hypocrisy comes in with gun owners. So here's what I'd like to see you do, man, and all of y'all that own guns. I don't own no guns. I was brought up around guns. I've shot just about every kind of gun there is. I've shot guns when I grew up in Kentucky, man. A gun, you had a baby bottle. You had a bottle of, and this is no bullshit, you had a 16-ounce bottle of Dr. Pepper with a rubber baby nipple on it, and you had some sort of gun in the house. That's what you had.
Sounds like America to me.
America.
Yeah. America, boys.
America.
So now, so what I want you to say, Derek, is I want you to say, man, fuck it, man. I like guns. I want to have guns. I got a Second Amendment. I want to have guns, man. Fuck these statistics stuff you keep throwing. Say, hey, look, man, I like to lay in the bed with a rifle and jerk off. I don't care. If that's what you want to do, man, just say it. You know, I think people would look at it a little differently because you're trying to sway people's opinions, man, on stuff that they ain't going to get swayed on. You know, you got New York City, man. You can't even have an empty bullet shell walking into New York City. They'll put you in jail for a year.
Exactly.
You ain't going to sway them people, man. But this hypocrisy of if you just say, hey, man, when I like to stroke a pistol at night, man, if you want to say that, or, you know, I like for people to fucking call me up and ratchet pump shotguns while I jerk off, man. If that's what you do, man, that's all right. But stop trying to throw statistics and shit like that in there, man. I think you would feel better. I think if you just said, hey, man, just fuck this stuff with all these statistics and things, man, and trying to convince people, just say, I got a right to own guns. I'm going to own 1 million of them if I could, you know.
But that's the truth,
but
right?
when you say
we have that right. And the statistics that I
correct, man, own as many fucking guns as you want to, but the hypocrisy of you trying to convince everybody that there's safe, guns don't kill people. People kill people. Yeah, but it's a lot easier to kill them with a gun than it is a club, you know? I mean, so I think
Derek Jeter, I don't know.
You get it.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I would say, man, listen.
Yeah.
If
So what you're saying is that basically stop talking about why guns are not the problem where people are, and just own the fact that you should own guns, and we should just be okay with people dying.
Man, people, hey, listen, man, use some fucking statistics, man. Listen, 250 million guns. And, you know, here's one thing I will say about statistics. I don't know. You had said people should worry about COVID, man. around here, COVID has cured everything. Ain't nobody died. Fuck, man, there was old boy running his pickup truck after work, run into and killed him and 2 other people, and I think they wrote that down as COVID.
Yeah,
so ain't nobody dying of COVID, and there ain't been no mass shootings. So COVID has cured mass shootings even. Man, I think we should keep COVID around. It's cured everything.
We hear it 6 the net. It's just our opinion. We are not medical professionals.
So Rusty Shacklefield's opinion is who we're talking
about. Well, here's the thing. Now, y'all are saying, what I would say is this, Derek. With 250 million guns in this country, and only a handful of people dying a year, and you might say, oh, there's a lot of people. Man, if you start doing the math, 350 million people, and let's say 3,000 people a year die from gun violence. Well, that's an awful small number. It sounds bad because every time somebody gets shot, it's on the TV, but that ain't a lot of people statistically wise. It's not. And look here, y'all, we got a Second Amendment it has a cost to it. And nobody wants to sit down and say, hey, that Second Amendment's got a cost just like the First Amendment's got a cost to it. Now, the difference is, like old goofy-ass boy that blew himself up somehow changing oil on a tank, he died a hero. Now, if he would have went and somebody would have shot him, he'd have been a statistic in violence. And they would have never said anything about, well, you know what? He died to save the Second Amendment so people could have guns. So I think, and some of us down here too think, the hypocrisy of, you think about that old politician that, 6 foot of shit standing straight up, and he comes in and says, I'm going to say thoughts and prayers for you. Well, man, what the hell is a thought and a prayer going to do for you? Just say, hey, look, man, the NRA elected me. We got a Second Amendment. Y'all ain't giving up your guns. That's for sure. So have a Coke and shut the fuck up, man. And just, some people died today. That's all there is to it. But this hypocrisy of convincing all these people of this stuff.
Rusty's on a roll.
So Rusty,
man, Who is this?
This is
Deke.
Yeah, this is Deke. I'm the producer. So
you didn't send. Let me ask something, man. I rode away one time, and y'all sent me that plastic pizza cutter thing. Was that y'all doing? Man, that thing ain't worth a shit, man. You throw that thing away, man. It wasn't good at all, man. I thought you was mad at me, and I'd never even called in.
Maybe you should turn it over and use the wheel on a pizza.
Oh man, see, now you're insulting me because of my accent, man.
Come on now. No, listen, Rusty, first of all, I absolutely love you and appreciate you for chiming in here tonight. And here's the thing, I think, with this show. I don't own a gun either, right? And I grew up in Iowa, so around guns, and I've shot a lot of guns. But thanks to Derek taking me to the range.
Hey, Jen, welcome to the show.
But
buddy, down here the range is a backyard, man. You can shoot all you want.
Which
man.
I wish we could do here. Right. Like, let me be real.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Our stance on this show is we want to have a good conversation, and that's what you're giving us, is a good conversation and 100%. Things to think about. I don't know. I try not to persuade people right or wrong, or guns are good, guns are bad. It's your own personal belief and where you're at, and you're right. We don't hear in the news the 16 car pileup, that killed 22 people. But what we do hear is, hey, 22 people were shot in LA or Chicago or wherever. And I think you're right. And I appreciate you, because I've never thought of it that way. There's a price for that amendment as well.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. It's a good statement.
And that makes me stop and think. So
I want to throw.
See, I told you boys I was going to help you out tonight. I've been listening. I want to help you out.
I appreciate that, Rusty. And
you think Tom can send me one of them children books?
we can talk to Tom and see if Tom can send you a book. So I want to throw this out there. So, I'm a fact guy. Like, I like facts. The reason I like facts.
I thought you said fat guy.
I'm fat too. We can talk about that later. We can talk about that in the green room, buddy. I'll show you my rolls. So at the end of the day, when I talk about facts, the reason I talk about facts and the reason I really dive deep into it is, number one, the show is about facts. The second reason is there's so much out there. And I just talked about it a minute ago. 2000, when I was in Tennessee, I read a news article. I believe it was USA Today, that the headlining said 2,000 kids shot in Chicago. That's what it said. That was the headline. There was no other context to it at all. And the problem is that the media continues to throw out their own narratives. So the facts behind what I'm trying to say is, it's not the fact that you should own a gun or not. That's your choice. That's our Second Amendment right to do that. And you're right, there is a cost for every single one of the amendments in different ways, but this is what keeps our freedom alive, right? We want to be free. There's costs for that freedom. There's nothing free in life, right? And many people, many millions of people have given their lives to protect that Constitution, right? In the military, inside of our own walls, inside of our own country, inside of everything, because it's not just the guy fighting the war across seas. There's also people that fight the wars here that are across seas, but they're physically here and have whatever happened to them as well. Right. So we have to look at that as well. The fact part of this, there's 393 million guns in America in circulation right now. 393 million.
And how many people live here?
345 million.
So there's more guns than people.
Man, I don't know about that, because some of them, I'd say a few are accounted for.
A few.
Especially down here, because there's getting to be a few more that ain't accounted for. But anyway.
Register guns.
So like serial numbers on file and whatever.
Yeah. So, boy, what I'm saying, so Derek, what I'm saying, man, is this. Look, man, just, again, I don't know. Here's the thing, man. Ain't nobody gonna take your guns away. It just ain't gonna happen, man. It's not in this country. Now, here's the thing.
Guns away. New York City. I can't carry a pistol in New York.
Yeah, here's the reason why, though. Here's the reason why. You got a democratic state there. You got almost a socialist state, just like you do in California. Now, you got to remember now, and I'll tell you, my grandfather and his grandfather, and even my daddy for a little while, and my aunts and not my aunts, but my uncles and cousins, they still work in coal mines down here. And, they unionized, and they were Dixiecrats. That's when, they come down here. You remember when old Bobby Kennedy come down here and had all the hillbillies eating dirt? I bet you don't remember that.
No,
they went around and got some hillbillies and had them eating dirt and told them they were so poor that they could, they had to eat dirt to live on. And when the camera crews left, they went in and had beans and cornbread. They had food in the house.
That's politics.
But them Dixiecrats wanted them to eat dirt and say that they couldn't live on. Now, how the hell were those little kids they living on dirt? But that's the way they showed it, So, man, so here's what I would say. First of all, man, if somebody comes up to you and throws some gun shit in your face, just say, look, man, it's Second Amendment. I don't give a fuck. What I want to do with my gun, I'll do with my gun. If I want to lay in the bed at night and stroke it, I'll do it. It's my right to do that with my gun.
But so, New York and California both say that that's not your right anymore.
Correct. Now, hold on. Now, let me go a little further. A little further with that. The issue is, if y'all would take your time and start making sure that you start explaining to people, the more you get socialist people into the White House and into power, the more of your rights go away. So take some of that time that you're educating people with statistics, trying to, bend a piece of steel with your mind with these statistics, and tell them people, look, man, you want to, whatever you're doing with your guns, because it ain't for protection. I laughed my ass off. I had old boy down here. He had he had his whole basement full of guns. And I said, Roland, what are you going to do with all them guns? Man, that's for my protection. I said, who are you going to protect yourself from? He said, from the military. I said, Roland, do you think they're at fucking Washington going, man, we can invade Kentucky if it wasn't for Roland and his guns, man? Ain't nobody worried about your guns in the military. What are you going to do about that? So some of that stuff that you're taking your time, and I told you you're laboring under this misconception, and you're going to maybe throw some of that time and say, look, if you want to keep your rights and you want to keep your guns, man, instead of trying to convince your neighbors you want to keep a gun, convince your neighbors to vote Republican, man. Republicans ain't going to take your guns now.
No,
You know,
no
get you
politics
some.
on
Running into
21-6
politics here.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
no
I'm just saying, man. You know, and I do
So,
that.
Rusty,
You know,
I completely understand where you're getting at.
Right.
I can't not agree with. As I got older in life and realized that things that I want done in different parts, politically or not, I have to be directly involved in. But I also have to be directly involved in understanding every part of how that system works, and a system that's been taught in different ways for many years in said system that you're talking about. My partner got a really big shot of that this year. So he was a certain category, very heavy, really pro-gun, same kind of morals as me.
your partner like you're married to him, or your partner like somewhere else.
My business partner. So I'm an open person, but I am not I'm not.
I'm sorry, man. You cut out. So okay, I got your business partner.
You're good.
Okay.
That's all right. I do drive a Tesla. I know it's weird. So the funny thing is I had told him, I said, hey, I don't pay attention to this big voting part because we live in a state that's going to be blue, right? It's going to be a certain way. And
yeah, Kentucky is too, man. Kentucky is too.
To change that state takes a whole lot of people that are all grouped together in one area, and that one area doesn't like the same views that the rest of the state does as well. And until that said voting system changes, we're not going to be able to change the state to get the electoral votes that needs to go in the favor of what said, what you're talking about. So it was hard for him to understand. He's like, well, that's your right. You should be able to do that. And I said, I understand that, but the way that the current voting system works. So I said, here's what you need to pay attention to. It's not just one person. People do not realize there is more chain of commands than one individual controlling the entire country. That's called a dictatorship, right? And you're getting my Southern tang out of me real bad here.
So, well, you know what I used to tell girls? I'd say, y'all got any hillbilly in you? And they'd say, no. I say, you want a little bit of hillbilly in you?
Russell, you can keep that hillbilly to yourself over there in Kentucky.
So go ahead.
It starts at local level is what I'm getting at. And it starts with the Senate. It starts with every single vote that's out there matters. Right now, we have a more one-sided way entirely on the government, which is why things are happening the way they are, why they're happening easier than having a balanced system where both sides, and by the way, there's three sides. There's an independent that nobody talks about as well, and we need to make sure we pay attention. Well, regardless of the political status, right? Completely. Let's just take the political stuff out of it completely. The Constitution is not to be changed at all. It's a right. God-given right. That's it.
Well, I don't know if God had anything to do with the Constitution, but it is in our, we were born into this country, which made us a citizen, which made us have the rights provided to us under that Constitution. I don't know how much God had to do with it, but, because there is if you really wanted to pick things apart on the Constitution, that first couple of lines where it said all men are created equal except for the fellers out behind the barn, well, there's some problems with that one. So, but anyway, before we get this into a political show, what I'm saying, man, is this. Next time that somebody goes off and kills 20 or 30 of them, and somebody gets into your face about it, I'm asking you to use that little thing that I gave y'all and say, look, I understand you're upset, but we have an amendment. If that was 20 or 30 sailors getting killed, they'd be praising them and saying, Lord, they got killed. God, they were saving the First Amendment right. Nobody talks about that Second Amendment right. How many people died for the 13th Amendment? Think about that, man.
Yep.
People don't realize 650,000 Americans died for the 13th Amendment, and don't think about that. More Americans died. Well, down here they call it the War of Northern Aggression. I don't know if you knew that or not.
It's amazing. Yep.
So
the 13th Amendment is extremely important, and people
correct.
People don't look at the rest of the amendments. Yes.
Yeah. So you look at the right to vote. Look at how many women went and suffered to get the right to vote. So
by the way, I'm going to throw a fact out here real quick, and this has been fact checked. 15th Amendment, right to vote all, was 100% supported by Republicans and not supported by the other party.
Well, honestly, man, if you go back in history, the 13th Amendment was heavily opposed by the Democrats.
It was too.
But,
yep, I see that too.
Yeah. So anyway, here's the thing, boys. I'm gonna have to get off of here. I gotta go.
Sounds
But I know your show wraps up here in a little bit. You're an hour different. Y'all are on slow time. I'm on fast time. I'm on Eastern time.
It's okay.
So,
we're okay with that.
So I'm gonna let y'all go. Y'all be good, and I'll keep listening. And
Rusty, did
you
poop today?
Buddy, I can barely hear you. What'd you say?
Did you poop today?
Did I poop today?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I did. Why?
Because I pooped today.
Derek pooped today.
I didn't hear that. Maybe I'll try to rewind the show and hear it.
Okay, yeah. Sounds great.
You got it.
All right, y'all be good.
Hey, thanks for calling in. But I want to leave you with this, Rusty, before you get off the phone.
Sure.
From Thomas Jefferson: on every question of Constitution, let us carry ourselves back to the time when the Constitution was adopted, recollect the spirit manifested in the debates, and instead of trying what meaning may be squeezed out of the text or inverted against it, conform to the probable one in which it was passed.
He's smart, dude.
There you go.
Well, I got to tell you, they were definitely speaking eloquent back then. I'll tell you that much right now.
And of course, William, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Says, hey, stop. Ban guns and the annoying orange. I think we know who he's talking about.
Yep.
And guns with magazines and violent video games with guns and songs with bad words. They make people criminals.
Wow. William, I would.
Wow,
that's a good one.
I got to tell you, William, I've known boys that ain't listening to nothing but country music, and they mean as hell. So I don't know which ones you're talking about. So
I don't know either.
I don't know. Anyway, well, boys, y'all be good, and we'll talk to you. And if you let me know, I'll talk to y'all later.
Rusty, thanks for getting caught in the net, and we'll send you another pizza cutter.
Man, don't send me none of them things. All right, y'all.
All right, Rusty. Thank you again, bro. Bye. Awesome, dude.
Great for him to call in.
I really appreciate him calling.
Now I don't know.
I don't have really much to say other than the fact that he's not wrong. I mean the show is about facts, so I'm gonna stick to facts. He's not against guns. He just wants you to just understand that. I like his mentality because you have to think different, right? That's what I got out of it. Right. Instead of talking about statistics, how can we think differently to help with making sure that things don't roll off the chain with different parts of it as well. Hi, Miss Baer, Warden. How you doing? That's my mom. She's got a southern tang on me now. It's a problem. And in Tennessee calls it too. I want to know what William Sanchez has got going on though, because I need to read this again. So when we got a couple minutes here.
So he says, stop, ban guns and the annoying orange, and guns with magazines and violence video games with guns and songs with bad words. They make people criminals. So
help me understand why. William, I want you to throw in the comments here if you got a couple minutes here. If not, I definitely want to partner with you. I'd like you to message me directly, either 216 or you can send me a direct email at derek@thebearfactsonguns.com, or you can email the show at 216 and that. Deke will get that over to me, no problem. Just put Bear Facts in the subject line. Yeah, and we'd like you to have you on the show. Honestly, let's have a conversation about it. And here's and that's it. So this is we do the innovative strategies on Wednesday morning. It's about financial literacy. Sure. This is a show, the Bear Facts on Guns, about gun literacy. Yep. Right. We want to educate. We want to hear people like Rusty. And thanks for calling again, Rusty. Absolutely love you for that. I appreciate you. And William would love to have you as well, because it's these conversations that help everybody grow. It's these conversations that help everybody see the other side and they seek to understand, right? Let's seek to understand each other. Let's stay out of our own head for what our stories are and really focus on what the other person is trying to say so that their voices can be heard. This is America. We should be able to hear a voice. It's our First Amendment right there, right? So we need to make sure we actually hear these voices, and I'm definitely willing to hear it as well. William also says, no, don't say poop. Be nice. Be nice. To love everyone. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. We definitely need to love everyone at school and at job. I don't disagree with that at all.
And here's the other thing that I want people to understand. And this is straight out of one of the founding fathers' mouths. And Thomas Jefferson says, "We in America do not have government by the majority. We have government by the majority who participate." Just to what Rusty was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to sway me. Don't try to sway me to love guns. But in other words, sway me to participate. All tyranny needs to gain a foothold is for people of good conscience to remain silent.
So the point of the facts and what we try to do is educate the people that are uneducated or stuck on one side. So maybe you have an upbringing and your parents are one-sided,
Yep.
and that one-sided part is a bunch of lies,
Yep.
right? And those bunch of lies then kind of go into your being of who you are because you're listening to how you were brought up, which is fine. But we're just trying to get the facts out there that are real and make sure. What did William just say too?
Because the annoying orange has violence. Ban the annoying orange.
We're not trying to get political with this. I don't know if he's talking about that individual that's orange or if he's talking about the orange tip to the guns. I honestly don't know yet, but reach out because I'd like to have. So I want to be healthy about this, right? So we're going to be open and listen and give listen to your side of it. I'm not going to oppose you. I'm not going to fight you on it. I'm going to let you speak your mind. But at the same time, you need to do the same for us too, because we want to have a healthy conversation with that as well. So that's a great song. Dude, I can remember my dad and me driving, listening to this song.
And that's what we're talking about right here. Bear Facts on Guns. Thanks for getting caught in the net. This has been the Bear Facts on Guns. Tune in tomorrow morning. Listen, folks, 6 a.m. is our good friend Mary Catherine's Power Hour playlist. Followed at 7:30, The Grounds, Scott Giles and Jones. And then followed up by Bridging Civil Tension, the Success Journey podcast. Followed at noon by Dream Home Experts. It's just a loaded day. But more important, check the website out when you wake up tomorrow morning. 216 The Net website goes live tonight, somewhere in the middle of the night. So tune in and check us out, our brand new website. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We love you. Have a great evening.